elevation areas and a few of the areas nearby the naturals and a very small area in the middle. So the big large field section around the middle of the map, you can't build turrets there, and that will cause people to need to keep Goliaths out in the field quite a lot. We'll probably see some dropship play before long because these guys have been a bit slow with their missile turrets around the top left and bottom right and in their mains. But we'll have to see. Bear in mind that both players have heaps of starports each for building dropships with. So here's a dropship from what's his name again? Fanta. Goliath ripping into these vultures here, heading up to the top left. So this actually could be interesting if Fanta managed to push his whole way, the entire way over. But he's not going to decide to do that. He probably assumes, yeah, and in fact he can see that Didong has a blockade of tanks there. He's got his engineering base, so he sees that Didong hasn't quite taken all of the expansions that are available to him at the top left. In the meantime, he's taking some of his own expansions down the bottom right. This is his first one. And both players will just keep securing expansions until there's nothing left. Pace yourself, all. It's going to be a long game. Dead critter. A few comsats going off, and it looks like Fan is taking the middle of the map. A few tanks firing at each other here. We've got a lot of dropships from Didong. He's got them in position and has the potential to land all over Fanta at this point. Fanta is actually pushing in right now and is actually being quite aggressive here. We've got a big fight, a lot of Goliaths on either side, and the red Goliaths from Fanta are just trying to snap off those dropships coming in, but the dropships did manage to get a few tanks in range, in close range of Fanta's group there, so Didong has managed to push back here, and again it's a deadlock, and that's just been the phrase of the game so far. Neither player being able to get a decisive victory, although either player has managed to get small advantages here and there throughout the game, but it's been back and forth, and nothing's been completely decisive so far. And yeah, as I was talking about before, Didong taking the 6 o'clock, it is available to him. He'll probably want to get some turrets up because otherwise Fanta will just take that straight back with dropships of his own. So I don't really want to see him wasting too much time. Not like that. Fanta denying the ideal comsats command center station there with the engineering bay, just preventing that from going down where it wants to. Tanks getting a little bit closer so we can actually shell that engineering bay to prevent that from happening. So, decent move there. And this is the reason why neither player can really take that middle expansion, because it's so hard to hold. And that's the way this map was designed. It's really just like the end-game clincher map where you've sort of got your opponent boxed into a corner and you're out of minerals. That's the last expansion that you take. And we've seen that happen in some games, but it's going to be tough for this game because this game's looking pretty 50-50. A lot of dropships though, so maybe this can turn the tide. Fanta has invested in, looks to be about 6 to 8 of them. You can see here Didong's actually mined out his natural. He's probably going to want to transfer them over with some dropships to the 6 o'clock. He's putting up a couple of turrets now, as he needs to. He's going to need more than a couple though. Or at least if he keeps the Goliaths there, but because Goliaths take up population, it's better to take your Goliaths and use them elsewhere. Big forces posturing, you can see that they seem to be pacing. They're just going up and down and up and down. We've got Fanta just flying around and probably using a lot of comsats. Both players probably have quite a number of comsats up now. At least 3 or 4. Very, very important in TvT because it's so hard to scout around the map with these tanks and so forth. If you just send SCVs looking for stuff, they're going to get blasted very quickly without really seeing anything. And of course, if you move your troops out without knowing what's ahead of you, you may walk into a huge battery of tanks and get crushed. So comsat's very, very crucial. These areas just above the naturals at the expansions are very important too on Andromeda. You really want to get rid of the power generators and put some turrets up there. Got a bit of a firefight going off now because Didong is pushing forward a little bit aggressively down to the bottom right. He wants to sort of break the deadlock and get some tanks in, and he has done that. Nice! Use the dropships to actually land on the ledge here. This is exactly what I was talking about before. You've got to break the power generators leading to that ledge there, and to put some missile turrets up to prevent that from happening, but Unfortunately for Fanta, D-Dong's managed to get around that and land a lot of tanks there. So he's going to be able to prevent that natural expansion at the bottom right from going down. Looks like Fanta's loading up a lot of troops here, so he may want to try and take this back. We'll see whether he's successful in a minute. And yeah, there's the mineral only finally taken there from D-Dong. He's got a lot left of that. And ouch, this looks nasty. You can see from the positioning here that Fanta can't mine that with SCVs at all. It looks like D-Dong is coming in for the kill here. He's just attacking all these areas that Fanta is not. Fanta having a lot of trouble here. And Fanta moving his tanks in anticipation. This is going to be tough, and actually landing a few of them in range right on top of D-Dong's tanks. This is actually quite good defensive by Fanta. He's probably going to pull this off. If he can get in range, yeah, he is going to get in range. So very, very nice defensive by Fanta, preventing the loss of that 3 o'clock, and obviously cornering a lot of D-Dong's troops. Now D-Dong has an isolated number of tanks there without any Goliath support. This is crucial. This is crucial because Fanta can move down there with some dropships, land everything around it, and polish them off, and then get his expansion back up and operational. But he's not moving there for some reason. Oh, or is he? Come on. Drop. He's got to hit the dropships just down to the south. Maybe they're not even full up yet. Yeah, those dropships haven't got stuff in them quite yet. I guess he's got other more pressing matters, like the situation going on in the middle, perhaps. And I guess because he's got a lot of expansions elsewhere, maybe he's not so desperate to take that natural, but he is going to need it. He's going to need it because that represents part of his 50-50 share of the map. D-Dong just now finishing his 6 o'clock. It's taken him a while, but he has got it. And yeah, Fanta putting down a few more missile turrets, doesn't really want to get landed in his main. Then we've got a covert ops, very nice choice. Maybe we'll see some ghosts with lockdown or something, or nukes. Nukes are probably more likely. That could be really cool. TvT with nukes is always fun to watch. And yeah, this could be turning out to be a very, very exciting game. I really love it when players use unconventional stuff, or at least if the game goes in such a direction that you can actually use very rare abilities, even if it's a conventional use of them. And a lot of dropships here, still nothing inside them, which concerns me because if I was Fanta, I'd probably want to load them up and get some drops in this location right here. He's got a couple of Goliaths there. It's not going to be enough. A number of dropships would easily be able to tear that apart. So it's going to be up to Fanta to do something about that. He's got to bomb them. Alright, Fanta heading around the northern area just above the middle here. And note that there is nothing there. There's no mines, no turrets, no forces from D-Dong. So he can afford to posture his forces around there and just see if he can get some entrenchment. Looks like D-Dong's only got a couple of tanks near the center, preventing a command center from going up in the middle there, or any tanks from driving through the center. But he's generally keeping most of his forces back in reserve. Both players very, very cautious, knowing that it's a deadlock, knowing that it's still going to be fairly volatile. I mean, it is StarCraft after all. If you make a wrong move, then your opponent can really jump on you, especially at this very high level of TvT, both players in top Korean gaming clans. And again, it's tough. You just got to play this very carefully. And it looks like we've got a decisive move going here from D-Dong, just charging in, dropping a lot of tanks off over top of the siege ones. Fanta is bringing his forces around here, and this is why you have to do so much posturing and flying around with dropships, because you want to be ready for anything. If your opponent moves in with tanks too quickly for you and sieges up and gets Goliaths in position, that's a whole chunk of the map that they may take and you may never see again. Because you're too slow. Oh, in the meantime, D-Dong is actually moving his tanks around. These are the ones that were sieged up above the expansion. And Fanta's now going to have to contend with that, actually worrying about his bottom right as well as the natural to that. Nasty stuff. Nothing happening with the covert ops. You can't see him building anything from a barracks. And a physics lab from D-Dong. So physics lab time for D-Dong, and he's decided to crack out the battle cruisers already. We're 32 minutes into this game, guys, and it doesn't look like it's going to be ending very, very shortly at all. A lot of dropships again, but with nothing in them. Oh, we have got a couple of tanks in one of them. But D-Dong again setting up position at that natural. Fanta has totally denied that extra base that he needs at the bottom right. He's going to need to get that, because it's basically He's got the map is exactly divided 50-50 between these two guys. Each player has got half of the expansions exactly, except for Fanta missing out on one, and that could be important later on. Obviously, the middle of the map doesn't count towards either of the 50-50 territories. That's like the bonus expansion. Oh, this is nice. This is very nice. Fanta comes in with unexpectedly with some wraiths and actually polishes off the Glyphs. He's going to get some shots off on these tanks. Really nice stuff, and this is really cool because. And Didong dropped some SVs to build some turrets, but Fanta's too quick. He's actually got rid of all of the tanks, and this means that the tanks can't actually get in range to shell the expansion because they have to move far enough back for the Glyphs to be able to hit the wraiths because they're above the ledge, but the wraiths can actually still get near the tanks. So this is a very, very, very nice way of Fanta actually getting this expansion back, doing exactly what he needs to, picking off the SVs just before they can finish the missile turrets off. Beautiful play here by Fanta. Very nice micro and forcing Didong to use up a lot of comsats, and he still managed to pick off the tanks despite all that comsat use.